Hi, and welcome to the Wellness Warrior Nutritional Challenge. This is the overview video that will go over everything that you're going to be working on for the next 5 weeks. I'm Sarah Callahan, and I am the founder of the Nutrition for Life project. I'm working with Pat on this project. So what are the goals of this challenge? First of all, simply, the goals are 5 weeks of consistency working towards wellness, body composition improvements, performance gains, and building the nutritional foundations to support your personal goals and health. You're going to focus on including adequate water, fruits and vegetables, and protein daily. And we're also going to work to limit treats and alcohol in an effort to moderate intake. I promise I'm going to go over exactly what you're going to look at with those items. The other cool thing is this 5-week period takes place right before the holidays. So ideally, we can continue these habits then in an effort to curb the potential for overindulgence that can come with the holiday season. So why are we doing this, right? These targets in particular are critical for wellness and making important performance and body composition gains, right? You're doing this awesome program with Pat, and this is going to tie nicely into it. Equally, when we do challenges and diets, sometimes we focus on removing certain items or restricting our food choices. And this doesn't necessarily reflect real life, right? This can cause us to go right back to what we were doing before the diet after it's over. The intention of this plan is different and is to focus on including the pieces that speak towards our goals while moderating others. This reflects real life in an effort to create lifelong positive habits. So your goals and metrics. This is totally optional, but you might consider creating goals for yourself at the start of this challenge. What might you be looking to accomplish over these 5 weeks, and why is that important to you? And I highly recommend, if you do think about these items, to write it down and refer to it regularly. We can talk about these points also on our accountability check-ins. You might even add data points to your process as well. You can opt to take a photo or some kind of body measurement to gauge progress if it's applicable to your goals. Maybe you can spend a few minutes writing down how you feel at the beginning and end of the challenge, or you can do something like opting to check in with sleep quality, how your clothes fit, your mood, your energy levels, how your workouts feel, things like that, right? Just thinking about gauging some kind of forward progression here. Okay, so how are you going to track your targets? Each day, you're going to use the Train Heroic app to check in with water, protein, fruits and vegetables, treats, and alcohol. This is the desktop version, but it's going to look something like this if you use the app, and you're just going to check that little complete button if you get those targets for that day, right? They'll all be listed there. There are a total of 175 opportunities over these 5 weeks to check off these boxes, right? If you get more than 140 checks, that's about 80% success, and that is awesome. That's exactly the type of consistency that we're looking for over these 5 weeks. Perfection is not necessarily what we're striving for here, but instead sustainable effort with these habits. In fact, the goal is not necessarily perfection, and I will tell you more about that in a minute. And at the end, you'll be able to see the areas that you have nailed down and maybe where you have room for improvement. Okay, so let's dive in. What are we actually looking for? You're going to track water. In general, we're going to aim to drink 1/2 of our body weight or goal body weight in ounces of water each day. So for example, if I weighed 150 pounds, that's going to be 75 ounces is going to be my goal for the day. Staying hydrated is important for helping to move nutrients around the body, support fitness and body composition goals, impacts mood and recovery, and many other benefits as well. I should have specified as well that this is body weight in pounds. If you're weighing yourself in kilos, you can pretty much drink that much water in ounces. To hit your water target, you might consider adding my signature beverage. That's the morning margarita, jokingly titled the morning margarita. First thing in the morning, have a 12-ounce glass of water with a pinch of sea salt and the juice of a quarter of a lemon or a lime. It just helps to replace electrolytes and also start with our hydration first thing in the morning. To help hit your water goals, you might consider breaking your target down into manageable and familiar pieces. For example, I'll fill my Yeti 3 times each day. If you know that 3 times equals the total you're going for, that's an easy target. Equally, you might attach your water to different events, right? Have a pint glass of water with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and one after my workout, right? Go ahead and pause this video for a second and figure out the math on your water goal. Awesome. Let's move on. We're going to talk about protein. We're going to aim to eat 0.7 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Again, we're in pounds here, or your goal body weight, and as much as 1.1 grams per pound. So this has a little bit of a range, but we're aiming for at least that 0.7, right? So if I weigh, again, 150 pounds, I'm going to multiply that by 0.7, and that's going to get me about 105 or so ounces. Protein provides essential amino acids, helps build muscle and body structures, enzymes, immune system, chemicals, etc. It helps you feel fuller longer, and that is huge when we're talking about both sustainability and also helping reach your body composition goals. Sufficient protein helps to combat the effects of aging as we get older as well, and helps to maintain and promote weight loss. To help hit your protein goals, if you happen to be tracking food in an app, which you absolutely do not have to, you can use that to hit your number, but no tracking is required. You can also break your total grams down into manageable pieces. So if your goal is 125 grams, that can equal 5 servings of 25 grams per day, and a serving is about the size of your palm. Luckily, that's about the size of each of our bodies or proportionally, so we can use our hand as a measurement there. Then you'll just keep track of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 servings. Nice. Take a second and figure out your math on the protein goal. Here are some protein sources. So obviously we have chicken, steak, beef, turkey, fishes, high quality deli meats. We're looking for no nitrates or nitrites there. Yogurt, milk and cheese, which also is a fat source, not a bad thing, but just worth being in mind, mindful of. Eggs or egg whites, and whey or casein protein. Here are some vegan or vegetarian sources. I'm not going to read through them all, but if you need them, feel free to use these to accumulate your protein. Cool. Next, what you're going to track: fruit and veggies. We will aim to have at least 3 servings of fruits or vegetables per day. Ideally, it's more like 3 to 5, but use your judgment here. 1 serving is about a cup or about the size of your fist. So again, we can use our hand for a measurement if we need it. Fruits or vegetables, anything that you like, aiming for 3 to 5. Including these servings helps us make sure that we're getting the vitamins and micronutrients that we need. We're enhancing our gut health and getting fiber to help keep us regular. Just a note here, natural sugars that are present in fruit are not significant enough to deter us from eating them. So don't let that stop you. Added sugars is what we want to be mindful of, and we'll get to that in a second. Let's go now. So we're going to aim to have between 0 and 1 treat servings per day. Okay. For most people, when we mindfully include treats, if we want them, we are less likely to overindulge on them, especially after trying to resist or restrict them. So what counts as a treat? Treats are anything that's overly processed, calorically dense, or higher in added sugar, right? These can include things like cookies, ice cream, candy, chips, etc. Serving sizes, you can use an indication on the package or your reasonable judgment, right? Is this a broad definition of treats? Yeah, maybe it is. However, be real with yourself when you're making a judgment about what counts as a treat for you. Okay, so you decide if you are having a treat that day. If you stay between 0 and 1, you can check that off on your guide. If you have more, skip that check for the day. Last thing that we're going to look at is alcohol. We're going to aim to be mindful of alcohol intake, and I want you to give yourself a check on the app if you have 0 alcoholic beverages that day. Hear me out. Contrary to how this might appear, the goal is not necessarily to never drink, but instead to be mindful of how frequently we are including alcoholic beverages and to increase awareness around how alcohol impacts us both physically and calorically. Right? Alcohol negatively impacts our sleep and recovery, making it harder to reach our body composition goals. It adds empty calories that we don't use the way that we use other foods, and it impacts our judgment when we're making food choices. Right? It's also typically higher in sugar, carbs, and calories, and can make us feel less hydrated and tired. So if you're someone who drinks alcohol regularly, here are some strategies that you can consider to adjust your drinking frequency. Consider why you're having a drink, right? Is it for stress relief? Is there another way to relieve your stress? Is this a habitual practice? Is there another activity or beverage that you can use in its place? If it signifies the end of a workday, is there something else that you can do to do that? Right? Think about how and when you're using alcohol and consider any adjustments that you might make. Consider setting a certain number of drinks per week or a number of days per week that you're going to have a drink and then plan for that. When and if you do drink, aim for light beers, wines, and hard alcohol with calorie-free mixers. Again, the goal here is not to never ever drink. However, we do want to increase the mindfulness, which is why this has a 0 target for checking it off each day. So what else should you eat besides these things, right? Besides these, you can pretty much eat whatever high quality foods that you like, checking in with your fullness levels regularly. We want to be about 85% full after meals, not 105% stuffed. I imagine that if you hit these targets, you will feel relatively full, but feel free to add in extra lean proteins, fruits or vegetables, high quality dairy products if you're hungry. What else are you going to get as a part of this challenge? You will get weekly accountability check-ins via the Train Heroic DMs from me. I'll ask you how things are going. We can talk about anything that you need. You're also going to get 2 times per week helpful content via your Train Heroic DMs. That's going to be tips, tricks, suggestions, kind of general nutrition information that can help you with these targets. So how can you be successful with this challenge? Prepare. Create shopping lists, plan how you're going to hit your targets. Be reasonable with your starting points. This is huge. Depending on where you're currently at with these items, making adjustments might be challenging. So start where you are and progress from there. Better is better. That's one of my favorite phrases. Perfection is not the goal. So let's say that you did the math and it says you should drink 100 ounces of water, and you take a second and you look at where you're at and you're like, wow, I'm only at 50 ounces per day. You can create kind of intermediary steps to get closer to 100. So maybe week 1, you aim for 65 ounces of water. Week 2, you aim for 75 ounces of water. And you keep going and going and going until you get closer to that 100 ounces. I don't expect you to go from 50 to 100 in one day, so use your judgment. Aim to check off your accomplishments on the Train Heroic app daily, right? This is the key for building lasting habits, continuing to stay on things. Consider setting an alarm or a reminder each day to keep you on it. And lean on me for support. Ask questions, ask for help, celebrate your accomplishments, all those goodies. You can also follow me on Instagram at Nutrition for Life Project for helpful recipes and tips. And if you have any questions, please send me a message in the Train Heroic DMs. It's Sarah Callahan again, and I'll be reaching out to you soon.